Hello and welcome to Maki's Closet. For today's class, we'll be sewing a monostrap jumpsuit. So this is the sewing part of the tutorial.
For the drafting part of this video, I'm going to leave the link at the description box.
So this is my pattern paper and I have placed my pattern on it. So I'm going to cut out. So I joined my fabric at the middle. So whatever I'm going to do, I'm just going to start from that point that I joined at the middle. So I'll place first and cut out this exact pattern before I'm going to open it up and alter the other sleeve. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll also pin it, then I'll start cutting. So remember, like I said, I joined in front, so I'll start where the joining starts and later I'm going to trim off that part. So for your own fabric, your pattern is going to start where your material is if you're not joining your front. So I ran short of material, that's why I did so. After cutting out, this is what I have, and I'm going to open my pattern to the front this way. The part I wrote front, and I'm going to place it on it this way. So I'll just go ahead and I'll cut off that part. So I'll fold that and I'll keep it aside. Coming over to my back, I'm going to place it this way and I'm going to cut. I'm going to fold with the back and also place the pattern that is written back, and I'm going to cut what I have first before altering the other back of the neck. So I'll go ahead and I will cut. After cutting out, I'll go ahead and I'll pin out the zipper allowance both on the pattern and on the fabric too. So after doing that, I'm just going to open what I have. So opening it, this is what you're going to be having, and also on your pattern you're going to have the same thing. After doing that, the next thing you're going to do is to gently unpin your patterns, and you're going to place it separately and you're going to cut. So you're going to be placing it separately so that you can know the side you're going to cut, and you're going to place the pattern that has front on the front side of the fabric so that you won't get confused on the part to cut. After cutting it, this is what you're going to have. I'm going to cut my lining, so while sewing I'm going to stitch up these parts and I'm not going to stitch the armhole area. Then I'm going to stitch here, then also stitch this part and this part, but I'm not going to stitch the armhole area. Going over to the front, I'm going to stitch the neckline. I'm not going to stitch the armhole, and I'm going to stitch the sides. So I'll put that aside. Coming over to my center front where I joined, I cut a material and I created a design in front. So I'll be covering the joining. So I'm done doing the turn up. This is what I have. So this is my back pattern or my back fabric. So I'm just going to attach zip at that area when I'm done, and this is my front. This is what it looks like. So next I'm going to fold over my fabric and I'm going to be creating my dart. So for your dart, you're going to measure your nipple to nipple and you're going to mark, and then you're going to get your shoulder to bust +1. There is where your dart will start. So this is the down part of the jumpsuit, the trouser part. So what I'm going to do is for the back, I'm going to fold in this part and I'm going to be creating a dart of 3 inches at the back side. So I'm going to be doing it on the 2 back side of the trouser. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and the down part, I'm going to hem it, or I'm going to fold the down part and I'm going to sew. So I'll do that for the 4 pieces that I have. So after doing that, I'll insert that at the upper part also and I'm going to join it. So this is what I have after joining it. Next, I'll place the joining at the both sides to meet. So after that, I'll place my tape and I'll measure like 7 inches or 7 inches. So from that 7 inches that I pointed out, I'm going to stitch down to the end. So, and I will be attaching zip to the upper part. Then going over to the front side of the trouser pattern, you're just going to place it this way, and you're going to take the other one and place on top. So you're going to start stitching with 1 inch. So going down, you're going to go down with half, and then at this part, from that part half, and you're going to go down with a pinch. After sewing, you're just going to flip it over this way, and you're going to place the center of the trouser to the center of the upper part of the top, and you're going to sew with 1/2 inch, joining both together. And after sewing that, you're just going to insert the zipper for your back pattern. After sewing in your zipper, you're just going to join the shoulder. You only have one shoulder, which you'll be joining together. So this is it. I've gone ahead and I've joined the shoulder, as you can see. So after joining the shoulder, the next thing you're going to do is to join your sleeve for the off shoulder part and the other side with shoulder. So you're going to be drafting 2 types of sleeve, the off shoulder sleeve and the one with shoulder. And I'm carefully going to trim out the excess I have on one shoulder. After that, I'm going to flip to the back to show you what I have at the back. So this is what my back looks like. As you can see, the zipper part is meeting. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to draft our sleeve. So this is the material I'm using. I'm using a doll face, a black doll face. So you can use whatever material you want to. So this is the sleeve for the part that has shoulder. So the length I have is 26 inches plus 1/2 inch that I'm going to use to attach sleeve at the upper part. So I'll go ahead and I will mark out that 1/2 inch first before drafting my sleeve. So my sleeve is 30 inches the width, and I folded it. I have 15. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my tape and I will measure. That is if you want your sleeve to be the exact sleeve round bound, but I'll be adding a little at that point because I'll be folding a little at the upper part of a sleeve, forming little puff or ruffles on top. So I won't be cutting exactly what I have at my sleeve or my armhole parts. So after doing that, I'm just going to take it down. So after taking it down to a certain point, I'll just slant it to the end of the fabric. So the reason why I'm doing that, if you notice the sleeve in the thumbnail, the down part is fuller. So you're going to just draft it this way. Then I'll outline it properly. Then the next thing I'm going to do is just to cut out. So, and I'll add a fabric or like a bow down there, which will gather the down parts of this sleeve. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to cut out this sleeve. So for the other side of the sleeve, I'm going to place the one that we already cut out to get the same measurement. So coming over, as you can remember, when we were drafting the sleeve at the monostrap side, we minus 3 inches. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to minus that 3 inches. So I'll draw a line indicating the 3 inches mark. So to get this part of your measurement, you're going to measure this part of your body and you're going to be attaching 1/2 inch. So I have 8 inches, attaching half to both sides, I have 10, and 10 divided by 2, I have 5. So I'm just going to mark that 5 inch, and I'm going to place my tape on -3, and I'm going to mark the armhole, which is 7.5, and I'm going to draw a curve forming an armhole curve. So with that, the off shoulder sleeve part is ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the other shoulder and I'm going to place on it. The reason why I'm doing this is that I want to get the exact shape of the sleeve. So after that, I'm just going to trace out from this part, and I'm going to trace it down, and then cut it out to ensure that I have the same shape of the other sleeve. So before cutting out, at the upper part, if you don't want to turn it up with the material, you can just add 1 inch and fold it out before joining your sleeve. So before joining my sleeve, I'm just going to fold it with half and half, and I'm going to sew. After doing this, I'll just go ahead and I'll cut off the pattern. So at this point, if you find this tutorial very interesting and educative, please don't forget to hit on the like button, subscribe, and also share my video. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always watching and viewing my channel. So still working on the sleeve, like I said earlier, at that part I added 1 inch. You're just going to fold it out and you're going to stitch before joining your armhole. Then on that ending part, you're just going to sew it down with 1 inch allowance. So for the band for the dress, this is the material that I have left. I'm just going to measure it out. So as you can see, I have 20 and a half on fold and I have 10 inches. So I'm just going to divide what I have into 2 and I'm going to mark dividing this fabric. So in total, the length of the band that I am working with is 41 by 5 inches. So after drawing the line, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it into 2 for the 2 different sides, for the 2 different side of the sleeve. And I'm going to open it up this way and fold it. So while joining it, I'm going to join with half. I'm going to join it to the down part of the sleeve. So before you join it, you're going to measure the down circumference of your sleeve that you're working with first, and you're going to attach. So after that, I'll go ahead and I'll go to the sewing machine and I'm going to attach my sleeve. So I'm going to join it with half at this part. Like when I was cutting, I added extra because I wanted to fold little at this part, so I'll just fold it in, creating little ruffles, and I'm also going to join half at this part. After that, I'm going to get my other sleeve and I'm also going to join it. After joining my other sleeve, the next thing is to pin down your fabric together, and after that you're going to insert your body circumference. So I'll place my tape and I'll mark my shoulder to bust. After marking my shoulder to bust, I'm going to mark my shoulder to under bust at the upper part. Then after that, the next thing is just to mark 1 inch at the trouser length. From that trouser part, I'm just going to be marking 1 inch and I will sew down. But before I sew down, I'm going to place my under bust circumference and I'm going to mark, and also I'm going to place my bust circumference and I'm going to mark. So moving over to the down part of the fabric, after marking my bust circumference and my under bust circumference, I'm going to go ahead and from that part I'm going to measure 1 inch. So I'm going to measure 1 inch at that part. I'm going to place my tape and I'm going to measure. So I'm going to take it down. So at that hip area, I'm going to ignore it slightly to avoid having hair at that point or any puffy edge at the hip area. So you're going to slightly avoid it and you're not going to mark 1 inch exactly. So you might mark 1.25 or 1.5 inch just to avoid that hair. After that, at the knee part, I'm just going to continue with the 1 inch. I'm going to mark the 1 inch till I get to the down part of the dress, of the jumpsuit. So I also go ahead and I'm going to mark it at that 1 inch at the other side of the trouser. So After doing that, I'll go over to my sleeve side and I'm going to mark 1 inch and I'm going to connect it down to my armhole area. So I've gone ahead and I've sewed the sides of the trouser of the jumpsuit and the armhole area. So the next part we are going to be doing is the inside part of the jumpsuit, the middle side. So I'll place my tape and mark that 15 at that 15 inches. After that 15 inches, I'm going to mark my actual waist length, which is 18.5, the waist length I'm working with. So from there, I'll put back my tape and I'm going to get my trouser half length, which is trouser knee also, and I will indicate on that part. After that, from that point that I sewed, I'm going to insert my knee circumference. So you're going to divide your knee circumference by 2 and you're going to mark at the knee point, and you're going to be marking it at the both sides of the knee. So after doing that, we are going to go down to the down part. So you're going to insert the circumference of the down part and you're going to mark. So what you're going to do is you're going to connect those lines together. So note, while joining your trouser, you might have allowance on the other side. All you have to just do is make sure the middle part is meeting together, and you're just going to pin. I'm going to pin, and whatever I do at this side of the trouser of the jumpsuit, I'm going to do at the other side of the jumpsuit. So at this part, I'll just slant to the tip and I'll go ahead and I'm going to sew it on the sewing machine. So coming to the sleeve part, I left about 1 inch at the end and I just sewed it down to have a neat finishing. So you're going to have an opening like that. So the next thing you're going to do is to get your sleeve, the band you cut out, and you're going to sew it or attach it round to this sleeve. And before you do that, you just have to get the middle of the band and also attach it to the middle of the sleeve, so that one part of the band won't be longer than the other band. So depending on the circumference of the down part of your sleeve, you're going to gather it, and you're also going to gather this part, and you're going to go over to the sewing machine and you're going to sew. So with this, we have come to the end of the tutorial.
Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on the notification button to get new updates from my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always watching and viewing my channel.